March, June 17, question number 1. Okay, part A. It says explain what a reverse takeover involves and discuss the relative advantages and disadvantages to a company such as Chrysos Company of obtaining a listing through a reverse takeover as opposed to an initial public offering. That is for 9 months. Okay, so first of all, you have to explain a reverse takeover. Then you have to write down the advantages and disadvantages of reverse takeover compared to IPO. But in this particular scenario, you have to discuss the advantages and disadvantages to companies such as Chrysos. Okay, you have to write down the advantages and disadvantages for Chrysos. Okay, you have to relate your answer with the scenario. Okay. Then part B. It says prepare a report for the board of director of Chrysos Company, which includes. Again, this is a report writing question. So now we know really well how to write down the report, right? Number 1, an extract of the financial position. Financial position, that is your balance sheet. Okay, so you have to prepare a balance sheet and an estimate of Chrysos company value to the equity holder after undertaking the restructuring program. That is for 18 marks. And this is the only question where you have to do some calculation. While the rest of the requirement, those are pure theory. Okay, so out of 50 marks, 18 marks are for the calculation, and rest of the marks those are on theory. Okay, so in part 1, you have to prepare your balance sheet. Now, if you have to prepare a balance sheet, so don't get confused in the exam, because balance sheet extract is given in the question. You will just copy paste that extract. Okay, just copy paste that format. Okay, so if you have to prepare a balance sheet, so don't get confused. It is very easy. Okay, it is not difficult at all. Okay, so first of all, I have to prepare a balance sheet. Then secondly, I have to calculate the value of Chrysos company if company undertakes restructuring. Okay, that is for 18 marks. Then part 2, an explanation of the approach taken and assumption made in estimated Chrysos company value to the equity holder after undertaking the restructuring program. Now in part 1, you will estimate the value of Chrysos company, right? You will compute the value of Chrysos company. Now obviously for computing Chrysos company value, you will use some method, right? Let's say if I'm using free cash flow method. So over here, you have to explain the approach of free cash flow. Then you have to write down the assumptions which are made in estimating Chrysos company value. You have to write down the assumptions of free cash flows. That is for 5 marks. Again, these are 5 easy marks. Then number 3, it says a discussion of the impact of the restructuring program on Chrysos company and on the venture capital organization VCO. Again, as you can see in part 3, you have to discuss likely reaction if company goes for restructuring. So almost in every restructuring question, you have to write down the likely reaction of stakeholders involved. Right? That is for 10 marks. Again, these are 10 easy marks. Then you will be getting 4 professional marks. Then part C, it says discuss why the attention Chrysos company paid to its equity. Discuss why the attention Chrysos company pays to its stakeholder represented on the supervisory board may change once it has obtained a listing. Now this 4 marks, this is completely from the scenario. Right now I don't know what is happening in the supervisory board, and if they obtain listing, then how the attention will be reduced. So that depends upon the scenario. I have to read the scenario, then only I can answer this part C. Part C has nothing to do with the report. This will not come in your report. This is a separate requirement. Okay, part A and part C, these are separate requirements. these are not a part of your report. Okay, only part B that relates to your report. Okay, now let us read the question. It says the 8 members of executive director of Chrysos company, a large private unlisted company. Okay, now Chrysos is an unlisted company, right? So if they acquire any listed company, so that will be an RTO, reverse takeover, right? Where unlisted company will acquire a listed company. That is an RTO, right? Reverse takeover. Okay, so it says the 8-member board of director of Chrysos company, a large private unlisted company, is considering the company's long-term business and financial future. The board of director is considering whether or not to undertake a restructuring program. This will be followed a few years later by undertaking a reverse takeover to obtain a listing on the stock exchange in order to raise new finance. Now, although over here, after a few years, they will obtain listing via a reverse takeover. But this reverse takeover, this will have no effect on your calculation. Calculation will still remain the same. Okay, calculation will still remain the same. So it doesn't matter whether it is a reverse takeover in the question or MBO in the question. That doesn't matter. Your calculation will be same. It will have no effect on your calculation. Okay. However, a few members of the BOD have raised doubt about a restructuring program and the reverse takeover, not the least the impact upon the company's stakeholder. Some directors are of the opinion that an initial public offering would be better option when obtaining a listing compared to reverse takeover. Okay, so some of your directors think that IPO is better than RTO. Okay, so in the first paragraph, I cannot see any information which can help me in preparing balance sheet or computing value of Chrysos. Right, they have just given you information about this company that it is an unlisted company, and right now they are discussing some restructuring program, and after a few years they will obtain listing via a reverse takeover. But few of your directors, they are not happy with RTO, and they are of the opinion that initial public offering is better than RTO. Then second paragraph. Chrysos company was formed about 15 years ago by a team of 5 senior equity holders who are part of the BOD and owns 40% of the equity share capital in total. Okay. 30 other equity holder owns a further 40% of the equity share capital and are not a part of BOD. A consortium of venture capital organization VCO owns the remaining 20% of the equity share capital and have 3 representatives on the BOD. The venture capital organization VCO has also lent Chrysos company substantial debt finance in the form of secured bond, okay, to be redeemed in 10 years time. In addition to the BOD, Chrysos company also have a non-executive supervisory board consisting of member of Chrysos company key stakeholder group. Detail of the supervisory board are given below. So in the next paragraph, in your second paragraph, they have just given you information on company's board, which members are sitting on the board. So basically, he told you that that company was formed by 5 members, 5 equity holders, and they are a part of board of director, and they own 40% shares in total. Then 30 other equity holders, they own 40% of the shares, but they are not a part of board. They are not sitting on the board. Then VCO, they own 20% equity share capital. Okay, VCO venture capital organization, they own 20% equity share capital, and they have also given an unsecured bond to the company. Okay, so VCO they own 20% shares, and they have given an unsecured loan to the company. Okay, then next. Chrysos company has 2 business units, mining and shipping business unit, and a machinery part manufacturing business unit. So Chrysos company, they have two business units, right? One is mining and shipping business, and second one is machinery parts business, right? Now this is very similar to the previous question, right? Even in Doric company question, company was having two business units, part division and fridge division. Now even over here, company is having two business units, mining and shipping business and machinery part business. Then he is saying the mining and shipping business accounts for around 80% of Chrysos company business in terms of sales revenue, non-current and current asset, and payables. However, it is estimated that this business unit accounts for around 75% of the company's operating cost. The smaller machinery part manufacturing business unit accounts for the remaining 20% of sales, non-current asset and current asset and payables, and around 25% of the company's operating cost. Now, this paragraph is very important. In this paragraph, he told you that Chrysos company is having two business units. One is mining and shipping business. Second one is machine part business. Now, for mining and shipping business, he is saying that this business accounts for 80% of revenue, current asset, non-current assets, and payables. And then he is saying that for operating cost, in case of operating cost, 75% operating cost belongs to or relates to shipping and mining business. Then for the smaller business unit, that is machine part business unit, he is saying that this business unit accounts for 20% of revenue, current asset, non-current asset, and payable. And for operating cost, he is saying that 25% of the operating cost they relates to this machine part business. Okay. So this paragraph was important with regard to your calculation. The following figures has been extracted from Chrysos company most recent financial statement. PBIT for the year to 28 February 70. Okay, sales revenue, operating cost, then profit before depreciation, interest and tax. So a small extract is given for your of your P&L. Right now, in this question, they have not told you, they have not shown you the breakup of sales. Like in the last question of Doric company, they have shown you the breakup of sales revenue, right? That how much sales relates to fridge division, how much relates to part division. Proper figures were given, but over here they have given you total sales revenue. But you have to remember one thing that the sales revenue of 16,800, this does not belong to one division. This belongs to two division, right? 80% of revenue belongs to mining and shipping business, and 20% of the revenue belongs to machine part business. Then for operating costs, he told you that 75% of the operating cost belongs to mining and shipping business, and 25% of the operating cost belongs to machine part business. Okay, so you have to be a little bit careful. Okay, then financial position balance sheet is given. Non-current asset, current assets, equity share capital. We can compute number of shares. Par value is 1, right? So it means company is having 1800 shares at present. Non-current liabilities are given. Current liabilities are given. Okay. Now next, corporate restructuring program. Okay, it says the purpose of a restructuring program is to simplify the company's gearing structure and to obtain extra funding to expand the mining and shipping business in the future. At present, Chrysos company is having difficulty obtaining additional funding without having to pay high interest rate. So in a restructuring, they want to simplify their gearing structure and they want to expand their mining and shipping business. Now your mining and shipping business, it accounts for 80% of revenue, current asset, non-current asset, and liability, right? So they want to expand this business, this one, which is your bigger unit, right? Okay, that is your restructuring program. They want to expand their mining and shipping business. Okay, machinery part manufacturing business unit. Machinery part, that is a smaller unit, right? The second unit, that was machinery part unit, right? That is your smaller business, which accounts for 25% of your revenue. Sorry, 20% of your revenue, current asset, non-current asset, and payable, and 25% of your operating cost. So regarding that smaller business unit, he is saying that smaller machinery part manufacturing business unit will be unbundled either by having its asset sold to a local supplier for 3102 million after its share of liabilities has been paid. Okay. Or the smaller machine part manufacturing business unit will be unbundled through a management buyout by floor manager. In this case, it is estimated that its after-tax net cash flow will increase by 8% in the first year only and then stay at this new level for the foreseeable future. The cost of capital related to the smaller business unit is estimated to be 10%. WACC is given 10%. The management buyout team will pay Chrysos company 70% of the estimated market value of smaller machinery parts manufacturing business unit. Okay. Now smaller business unit, that is your machinery part unit, that will be unbundled, right? Either it will be sold to the local supplier for 3102 million or it will be sold via management buyout, via buyout, right? So in both the cases, you will sell this unit, right? You will sell this unit, the smaller unit. This one will be sold. Okay, this will be sold, right? Either you will sell it to a local supplier for 3102 million or you will sell it via management buyout. Okay. And then after that company, they will focus on mining and shipping business. Then he told you that if they sell the business to a local supplier, then they will sell it for 3102 million after all the liabilities has been paid off. Okay, it means they will receive 3102 after all the liabilities has been paid off. Okay. Or they have one more option. They can sell this business unit via management buyout. So in case of management buyout, that management team, they will pay Chrysos company 70% of estimated equity value. Okay, they will give you 70% of estimated equity value. Okay, whatever your equity market value is, they will not give that whole market value. They will just give you 70% of your market value. Right now, market value of this business unit is not given. So it means I have to compute market value. Okay. Now over here, you have two options, right? So obviously you will go for the option where you will receive more cash, right? I have two options, right? Either I can sell the business to local supplier for 3102 million, or I can sell this unit via management buyout. So obviously I will go for the option where I will receive more cash. So in case of MBO, you will receive 70% of market value. Right now, I don't know what is the market value of this business unit. So I have to compute the market value, right? Then only you can choose the option. Okay. So how do you think you will compute market value? Yes. Which method can you use to compute market value? Can you see the term foreseeable future? So this is a hint that you have to use free cash flow method. Okay, you have to use free cash flow method because it says after tax net cash flow will increase by 8% in the first year only and then stay at this level for the foreseeable future. Okay, you have to use free cash flow method. But but basically when I will compute a value, so you will just compute the value of this smaller business unit, right? I have to compute a value of just the smaller business unit, right? I will sell this unit to a to my managers, right? So you will just compute the value of this unit. Okay. Okay, then next is mining shipping business unit. Following the unbundling of the smaller machinery part manufacturing unit, Chrysos company will focus solely on the mining and shipping business unit prior to undertaking the reverse takeover some year into the future. Now, obviously, you will sell your part manufacturing business, right? So obviously now you will be left with one business, that is mining and shipping business. So you will focus on that business. Okay. Then it says, as part of the restructuring program, the existing unsecured bond lent by VCO will be cancelled and replaced by an additional 600 million shares for VCO. Okay. So basically, venture capital organization, they have given some unsecured loan, right? So he's saying that if company undertake restructuring, then those unsecured bond will be cancelled and they will be replaced with 600 million shares for VCO. And VCO will pay 400 million for these shares. The bank overdraft will be converted into a 15 years loan on which Chrysos company pays a fixed annual interest of 4.5%. So this overdraft, which is given over here, this will be converted into a long-term liability, right? Non-current liability. So bank overdraft will come under the heading of non-current liability, right? So bank overdraft that will be converted into a 15 years loan. That means it will be converted into a non-current liability, and company will pay how much interest? 4.5% interest. So I'm just writing this thing over here. Okay. And unsecured bond will be repaid, right? Sorry, unsecured bond from the VCO, they will be cancelled, right? So now it will not come in your balance sheet. This will be cancelled and it will be replaced with shares, right? It will be replaced with shares. So now this will not come following restructuring. Okay. The next is he's saying that other debt under non-current liability will be repaid. So other debt under non-current liability will be repaid, right? So following restructuring, this debt will not come. This will be repaid. 1050, right? Okay. In addition to this, Chrysos company will invest 1200 million into equipment for its mining and shipping business unit, and this will result in its profit cash flow growing by 4% per year in perpetuity. Okay, so now they will close their um, parts business, right? And they will just focus on mining and shipping business. So they're saying that following restructuring, they have to invest 1200 million into a new equipment for mining and shipping business. And because of this investment, your profit and cash flows will increase by 4% per year till perpetuity. So this growth is not one off, right? This is per year growth rate. Okay. Then additional financial information. Chrysos company aims to maintain a long-term capital structure of 20% debt and 80% equity in market value term. Chrysos company finance director has assessed that 4.5% annual interest it pays on its bank loan is a reasonable estimate of its long-term cost of debt based on the long-term capital structure above. Okay, now basically company will close their part business, right? Machinery part business, and they will just focus on mining business, right? Mining business. So now I need WAC. So you have to compute WAC in case of business shutting down. Now, so over here he is saying that once they have closed their shipping, once they have closed their part manufacturing business, so now their capital structure will become 20% debt and 80% equity, right? Capital structure will become 20% debt and 80% equity. And then he is saying that finance director has assessed that 4.5% annual interest it pays on its bank loan is a reasonable estimate of its long-term cost of debt. So finance director is saying that 4.5% interest paid is a reasonable estimate of company's cost of debt. Cost of debt, that is your KD, right? So this 4.5%, this will be assumed to be your KD, right? This 4.5% interest, this will be assumed as your KD. Okay. Although Chrysos company does not know what its cost of capital is for the mining and shipping business unit. Right? Previously, they were running two business units. Now they will close one unit and they will focus on mining and shipping unit, right? So they are saying that they don't know what is the cost of capital for mining and shipping business, right? For part of manufacturing business, WACC was already given, right? Cost of capital was already given. That was 10%. But for the mining and shipping business, he's saying that they don't know what will be the cost of capital for mining and shipping business. Its finance director has determined that current ungeared cost of equity of Sidro company, a large quoted mining and shipping company, is 12.46%. Okay, so KE of Sidro company, some Sidro company, for which is just involved in mining and shipping business, that is given 12.46. Chrysos company finance director want to use Sidro company's ungeared cost of equity to calculate its cost of capital for the mining and shipping business unit. Okay, so he is saying that Sidro company KE is 12.46%, and that can be used in your WACC calculation. So this WACC calculation is very straightforward. KE is given, KD is given, D is given, E is given. Okay, you just have to apply your equation and compute that. Okay. The annual corporation tax rate on profit applicable to all companies is 18%, and it can be assumed that tax is payable in the year incurred. All of the non-current assets are eligible for tax allowable depreciation of 12% annually on the book value. The annual reinvestment needed to keep operation at the current level is equivalent to the tax allowable depreciation. Now, the meaning of this line is that TAD will not be added and investment in working capital will not be deducted because both are equal. Again, this is a hint that you have to use free cash flow method. Okay. Right now, I'm not reading this detail on supervised report that we will read later on. Okay. So try to deal with part 1, C part 1. Sorry, B part 1, where you have to prepare an extract of financial position, your balance sheet, and you have to calculate the value of Chrysos company after undertaking restructuring. So what will happen in restructuring? Is in restructuring, company will only have one business unit, right? They will only have one business unit. So when you will compute value of Chrysos company, so you will only consider one business unit. Okay. So try to deal with part 1.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Okay, so part B, point 1. So this will be your appendix 1, right? This is report writing question. So this is your appendix 1. Extract of financial position, and value of Chrysos after restructuring. Okay. So financial position, you have to prepare a balance sheet, right? So I will just copy paste the format from the question. Okay. So if you just look at your question, first of all, I can see that yes, non-current assets are given, right? Non-current assets are given. Now, while preparing your balance sheet, you have to remember one thing that now company is only having one business unit, right? Right? That is mining and shipping unit. So you will not take the total assets or total liabilities. You will take the assets and liability just of mining and shipping unit, right? Because now companies only have one unit, right? So I will take the assets of mining unit and I will take all the liabilities for mining unit. Okay. So non-current assets, land and building. So in the balance sheet, it is written that land and building is 7,500, but I will not take the whole 7,500, right? You will take the land and building only for mining and shipping business. So those breakup were given in the question. He told you that mining and shipping business, it accounts for 80% of revenue, current and non-current assets and payables, right? So I will take 80% of this. That is 6,000. Then next is equipment. So equipment that is of 5,400. Okay. But again, I will not take the whole 5,400. I will take 80% of 5,400. But basically over here, in case of restructuring, company will buy a new machinery, right? So that will also come. So they will buy a new machinery which is worth. Yes, it says in addition to this, Chrysos company will invest 1,200 million into equipment. So 1,200 million. So this will be a total of 5,520. Okay. Then your current assets. Next head, that is of current asset. So in current asset, I can see that first of all it is written inventory. Yes, inventory is 1,800, right? So again, I will take 80% of inventory. 1,440. Okay, then next I can see receivables. Receivables are 900, but again you will take 80% of receivables. That will be 720. Okay. Now over here you have to think that if company goes for restructuring, then basically they will raise some cash, right? So cash will also come, right? Now they will go for restructuring, so they will be raising some cash. So cash will also come. Okay, now if you just read the head for restructuring. So he told you, this, just read this paragraph. It says as part of restructuring program, the existing unsecured bond lent by VCO will be cancelled and replaced by an additional 600 million shares for the VCO. The VCO will pay 400 million for these shares. Yes, they will pay 400 million, right? So I can see a cash inflow of 400 million. The next it says the bank overdraft will be converted into a 15 years loan on which Chrysos company will pay a fixed annual interest of 4.5%. The other debt under non-current liability will be repaid. Yes, other debt under non-current liability will be repaid, right? So there will be a cash outflow. So other debt under non-current liability is of 1050. So there will be a cash outflow of 1050. So minus 1050. Then next it says In addition to this, Chrysos company will invest 1200 million into equipment for its mining and shipping business. So they will invest 1200 million into equipment, right? So again, you have to purchase this equipment. So there will be a cash outflow of 1200 minus 1200. Now over here, you have to think one thing. Okay, you have to think. Now basically in restructuring, company will sell its machinery part business unit, right? Company will sell its machinery part business. So don't you think that if I sell machinery part business, then I will raise some cash from it? Right? Now remember for machinery part, he told you that they have two options. Either they can sell the unit to other supplier for 3102 million, or they will sell the business via buyout. Right? And in case of buyout, he told you that company will receive 70% of market value. Right? So I have two options over there, right? For the other business unit, I have two options. But in both the cases, I will sell the business unit, right? So obviously, if I sell the business unit, I will raise some cash. I have two options. Now, obviously, I will go for the one where I will receive more cash. So even from that sale of business unit, you will generate some cash. So that is also something that you need to consider. But right now, I'm not calculating that area. Okay, right now I'm just leaving this part. Okay, and I'm just, first of all, I'm just entering those things which are easy. Okay. Now, apart from this, we don't have any other cash asset. So this is your total asset. Now, I'm not doing the totaling right now. Now, just come under the head of equity. So in equity, you will write down your share capital. Right now, company is having 1800 shares, right? 1800 shares. And what will happen after restructuring? Yes, they will issue some shares to your the unsecured bond to VCO, that will be cancelled, and you will issue some shares to them, right? So how many shares will you issue? 600 million shares, right? At a par value of 1. So that will be 600 million, right? Now apart from this, we will not issue any other shares. So it means now the total share capital will be 2400. Then you have to take your reserves. Now for reserves, you will take opening reserves, and then you have to add a retained profit. That will give you closing reserves, right? In balance sheet, we will use closing figures. I will take opening reserves, then you have to add a retained profit, that will give you closing reserve. So it means for retained profit, I have to prepare a P&L. Now, it will take a lot of time if you prepare a P&L. So it is better that for the reserves, you take a balancing figure. Okay, I will just take a balancing figure. There is no need to waste your time in exam. Okay, I will do the calculation for cash, but for reserves, I will take a balancing figure. Okay. Okay, then non-current liabilities. Now, after restructuring, company will only be left with one debt, right? OD. We have already done this thing in the question, right? While reading it, right? This unsecured bond, this will be cancelled. Other debt will be repaid, and this OD, this will be converted into a 15 years loan. It will come under the heading of non-current liability, right? So after restructuring, now we are just left with one bank overdraft of 1800. Okay, plus payables of 750. And current liabilities, we just have one payable of 750, right? But I will only take 80% of payable, right? That is going to be 600. Okay. So right now, basically, we have not computed reserves. I told you that for reserves we will take a we will take a balancing figure, but we have to do calculation for cash. Yes, so as you can see, almost my balance sheet is prepared, right? We are just left with the calculation of cash. So as you can see, there are many easy marks available. Okay, just copy this here area, then we will compute cash. Okay, now company will sell its machinery part unit, right? So obviously, if you sell machinery part unit, you will raise some cash. Now you have two options. Either you can sell your business to a local supplier for 3102. Right? I have two options. Right? Either you can sell it to local supplier. So if you sell it to local supplier, then cash raise will be 3102. Okay, cash raise will be 3102. This is one option. Second option is you can sell it via buyout and they will give you 70% of market value. Second option is you can sell it via buyout and they will give you 70% of market value. So if I have two options, so obviously I will choose the one which will give me more cash. Right? If I have two options, obviously I will go for the one which will give me more cash. So option one is very straightforward. I can sell the unit to a local supplier for 3102. Option two, that is a bit technical. Over here you have to think. Right? In option two, he is saying that they will give you 70% of market value. Market value of your machinery unit is not given, and your part unit is not given. So it means you have to compute the market value. Right? You have to compute the market value. So you will compute the market value by using free cash flow method. Right? You will compute the market value by using free cash flow method. Because in the question he have used the term foreseeable future. Then he have given you some growth rates. So that is an indication that you have to use free cash flow method. Okay. So whatever value you will compute using free cash flow method, they will not give you 100% of value, but they will only give you 70% of value, right? So first of all, you have to compute value in case of NBO. So now I'm just computing value of one business unit, right? I will sell my machinery part unit. So I have to compute the value of just machinery part unit, right? Okay. So you will use free cash flow method. So first of all, I will just write down the format of free cash flow. That is revenue minus cash cost minus TAD. That will give you operating profit. Then you will use free cash flow to company method, right? So in free cash flow to company method, interest will not come. Okay, interest will not come. So right after this, you will compute your tax. Tax is at the rate of 18%. Then you have to add back your TAD, less investment in NCA, less investment in working capital. That will give you free cash flows, free cash flow to company. Then you will do the discounting. For discounting, you will use back. Back is already given for that unit which you are selling. That is 10%. So present value of free cash flow to company. Now you will take total present value of free cash flow to company. Now from this you will minus value of debt. That will give you value of equity. Okay. So let's start. Revenue. Yes. So free cash flow, that will be computed from T1 till T infinity, right? Because here we used the term foreseeable future, and foreseeable future means from T1 till T infinity. Okay. Revenue. Now over here you have to use each and everything for the future, right? In free cash flow method, value is equal to present value of future cash flow. You will use future cash flow, right? Future. I need future revenue, future TAD. But for revenue and for your cash cost, no growth rate is given. Growth rate is only given for free cash flows. So it doesn't matter. Either you can increase each and everything by your growth rate, or in the end, just increase your free cash flow. Okay, that means the same. It doesn't matter. Okay, either increase each and everything by the growth rate, or in the end, just increase your free cash flows. Okay, it means the same. Okay, so I will just increase the free cash flows in the end. Okay, that will save time. Okay, revenue is how much? 16,800, right? But this whole business, but this whole revenue does not relate to machinery part unit, right? They have given you the breakup, right? We told you that 80% revenue belongs to mining business and 20% revenue relates to machinery unit. So you will take 20% of this, right? I'm computing the value of machinery unit, right? 3360. Then cash cost is, that is also given, the operating cost, that is 10080. Again you will take 20% of this, that is going to be 2520. Then you have to minus TAD, depreciation. Depreciation percentage is how much? Yes, tell me the percentage for depreciation. Just read additional financial information, paragraph number 3. Depreciation is 12%, right? But it is 12% of, yes, it is 12% of all non-current assets, right? 12% of all non-current assets. Non-current assets are, yes, these are my non-current assets, right? 6,000 plus 5520. So it means in total my non-current assets are 1 to 900, right? 1 to 900. But only 20% of non-current assets is right. Yeah, sorry, it is 25%. Yeah. Sorry, that is not 20%, that is 25%. That is 2520. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now non-current assets are total non-current assets 12,900. But all of these non-current asset does not relates to machinery unit. Only 20% of non-current assets belongs to that unit, right? So into 20%. And depreciation is 12%. So into 12%. That is 310. Operating profit will be 530 and tax will be 95.4. Right. Then after computing the tax, you have to add back your depreciation and you have to minus investment in NCA and working capital. Yes, depreciation, you will add back your depreciation. But for depreciation, there was one line written. If you just read your additional financial information, just come under the heading of additional financial information and go and read your paragraph number 3, third paragraph, last line. It says the annual reinvestment needed to keep operation at the current level is equivalent to the tax allowable depreciation. Right? Investment in working capital, that is equivalent to depreciation. So it means I will not add back TAD and I will not minus investment in working capital. Now what about investment in NCA? For this smaller unit, we will not make investment in any machinery, right? You will make investment only for mining and shipping unit. So this will not come. So it means my free cash flow to company will be 435. Now this is current year free cash flow, right? This is current year free cash flow. I need future free cash flows. So regarding this, he told you, yes, just read this thing. It says it is estimated that its after tax net cash flow will increase by 8% in the first year only and then stay at this level for the foreseeable future. Right? Your after tax net cash flow, that is your free cash flow, right? That will increase by 8% in the first year only and then stay at this level for the foreseeable future. So growth rate is 8%, right? So into 1.08, and that will be 470. Now I need back at 10% from T1 till T infinity. So for that you will take last discount factor, which is 1, over back, which is 10%, minus growth rate. Growth rate will be 0. I will not take this 8% because he told you that your cash flows will grow at 8% for first year and your cash flows will remain at a new level for the foreseeable future. So it means for the foreseeable future, my cash flows will remain at 470, it will not grow, right? So we don't have any growth rate for foreseeable future. That is 0, right? So this will be 10 into 10. So present value will be 4700. So this is the total present value, 4700. Now from this you will minus the value of debt. Yes, so we have just prepared our balance sheet, right? So in your balance sheet, I can just see one non-current liability, that is your bank overdraft of 1800. But again, this whole non-current liability does not belong to this unit. It's only 20% belongs. Or just wait for a minute. I guess he has not given you the proportion for liabilities. Yes, no proportion is given for the liabilities. Okay. So you can minus this whole 1800. Otherwise, if he told you that, he would have told you that, let's say 80% belongs to this unit. So we would have taken 80% of 1800. But that is not the case. So I will minus the whole 1800. 2900 value of equity. Okay. Now listen very carefully. Now the whole reason why we have done this working is so that I know how much cash I will receive if this business unit is sold via buyout, right? That is the main reason why we have done this whole calculation. So if business unit is sold via management buyout, then they will pay you 70% of your market value. Market value is how much? 4700. But they will not pay me this whole 4700. They will pay you 70% of market value. So 70% of this will be, so cash raised from sale via MBO, that is going to be 3290. Now just compare both the options. In option 2 you will receive more cash, right? So you will go for MBO, right? You will sell your business via MBO. They will give you more price. Okay, so now we know the cash raised. So now you can just write down this thing in your balance sheet. Right. 1440 for your cash. So add 3290, that will be 1440. So total assets will be 15120. Okay, so now you can easily compute the balancing figure for reserves, because the total of this, that will also be 15120, right? Both of these things must balance. So balancing figure for reserves will be 10320. Okay, so I guess this was the only area which was confusing over here. But apart from this, each and everything was straightforward. So now let's say even in the exam, if you were not able to pick this point, or let's say you were not able to compute the value via MBO. So what you can do is you can assume that company will sell the business to local supplier and they will raise a cash of 3102 million. Okay, instead of leaving that thing, you can at least take some assumption and you can prepare your balance sheet. Okay, you can just assume that company will sell the business to local supplier for 3102, and you can take that 3102 over here and do your working. Okay. So this is just one part of your requirement, because he told you to prepare balance sheet. So this was the working for balance sheet. Then he asked you to compute the value of Chrysos company after reconstruction. Okay. So now let us compute value of Chrysos after restructuring. Okay. So which method will you use? I have to compute value, right? So which method will you use? Free cash flow method, right? Free cash flow method. But remember one thing, now after restructuring company, they're just left with one business unit. That is mining and shipping business unit. So you will use all the information regarding mining and shipping unit. Okay, so you will use free cash flow method. Okay. Now if you just read this line for mining and shipping, just read this line. In addition to this, Chrysos company will invest 1,200 million into equipment for its mining and shipping business unit, and this will result in its profit and cash flow growing by 4% per year till perpetuity. Right? If you invest in this equipment, then your profit and cash flows will grow by 4% per year in perpetuity. Right? So again, this is an indication that you have to go for free cash flow method. Okay, but remember this thing that he is not saying that your sales will increase by this much percentage or cash cost will increase by this much percentage. He's simply telling you that profit and cash flow will increase by 4% in perpetuity. Okay. Okay, so we will use free cash flow method. So again, we will quickly write down the format of free cash flow. Okay. Revenue. Yes, you will just take the revenue for mining and shipping business. Revenue is 16,800 and 80% revenue belongs to mining and shipping business. That is 13440. Then cash cost, that is 10080. 75% of the cash cost belongs to mining and shipping business, right? 7560 less TAD. Now after restructuring, you have prepared your balance sheet, right? So just go and look at your balance sheet. What is the figure for non-current assets? Double 1520, right? Okay. So on this, you will receive depreciation, and depreciation is at the rate of 12%. This will be 1382. Operating profit will be 4498, and tax will be 810. Then after this you have to add back your depreciation and minus investment in working capital. But both are equal, right? So this will not come. Okay, then you have to investment in non-current asset. So for mining and shipping business, he told you that company will invest in its mining and shipping unit, right? They will purchase an equipment for mining and shipping unit. That equipment will cost how much? 1200, right? 1200. They will purchase an equipment of 1200 million for mining and shipping business. But over here, it is not mentioned whether this investment is one-off or whether this investment will be made every year. That is not mentioned, right? He have just told you that company will invest 1200 million in non-current assets. But he didn't told you whether this is one-off or whether they will make the investment every year. So now over here you will assume, okay, you will make an assumption that this investment is one-off. Okay, you will make an assumption that this investment is one-off. So I will not take this investment. Okay, so free cash flows will be 3688. Okay, now we can't apply discount factor to this, right? Because this is your current year free cash flows. And according to free cash flow method, value of company is equal to present value of future free cash flows. Right? Value of company is equals to present value of future free cash flow. So this is current year free cash flow. I cannot do the discounting on this free cash flow. I have to compute future cash flow, right? Future cash flow. So for future cash flow, he told you that company will invest 1200 million into equipment for its mining and shipping unit, and this will result in its profit and cash flow growing by 4% per year till perpetuity. Right? Your profits will increase by 4% per year in perpetuity. Perpetuity means till T infinity. So it means your revenue, your free cash flows will increase from T1 till T infinity by 4%. That is 3836. Then multiplied by the discount factor, which is WACC. Now over here you have to compute WACC. Right? You have to compute WACC. WACC for mining and shipping unit is not given. So we have to compute WACC. So let us do working for WACC. So WACC is very straightforward. Each and everything is given. You have to apply the equation. So WACC is equal to KE into equity portion. Yes, 11%. Right. Okay. So we can use 11% over here. Okay, now I need discount factor from T1 till T infinity, right? That will be last discount factor, which is 1, over WACC, which is 11%, minus growth rate, which is 4%, right? Now this growth rate will come. Right? This growth rate will come because this is the growth rate per year. Right? He told you that free cash flows will increase by 4% per year till infinity. This growth rate of 4% will come. $14.29. So present value will be okay minus value of debt. So just look at your balance sheet. Now we are just left with one bank overdraft of 1800. Value of equity will be okay. So we are done with B part 1. Now in B part 2, you have to explain the approach taken. You have used free cash flow method, right? So you have to explain the approach of free cash flow method and you have to write down the assumptions. So I have already provided you with the answer. So as you can see over here, I have mentioned that approach taken is free cash flow to company method, which believes that value is equivalent to present value of all future cash flow. The cash flows are calculated by deducting cash cost and TAD from revenue and then deducting interest, tax and working capital. And then I have written the assumption. Following assumption has been taken. Growth rate, tax rates and discount factor all will remain constant. Current capital structure of company will remain constant. Cost of bank loan is assumed to be KD and Sidra KE will be used to calculate back. These are the assumptions that we have made. So part 2 that was very simple. Now part 3. Yes, a discussion of the impact of a restructuring program on Chrysos company and on the venture capital organization. You have to discuss impact on venture capital, okay, and the impact on Chrysos company if they undertake a restructuring program. So you have to discuss impact on venture capital, right? So first of all, just tell me what is happening with venture capital. Currently, they own 20% shares, right? That was mentioned in the second paragraph. At currently venture capital, they own 20% of the shares. So currently they own 20% of the shares. Now in restructuring, you will cancel the unsecured bond of venture capital and that will be replaced with equity, right? Venture capital, first of all, they have 20% holding in your company and then they have given an unsecured bond to the company. So in restructuring, he told you that unsecured bond will be cancelled and it will be replaced. How many shares will you give them? 600 shares, right? 600 million shares. Okay. Okay, so in restructuring, bonds will be cancelled and you will give them 600 shares. Right now, company's current number of shares are 1800, right? Right now, company's current number of shares are 1800. And venture capital owns 20% equity. So 1800. They own 20% shares, right? That will be 360. 360. It means out of 1800, they have 360 shares. Now, after restructuring, their bonds will be cancelled and company will issue 600 million shares. So it means after restructuring, company's share capital will be increased to 2400 million. Right, 2400 million. Okay. So it means after restructuring, yes, right now they are having 360 shares, right? And you will give them 600 more shares. So their total number of shares will be 960. So on 960, can you compute the percentage holding? 960 over 2400 and that will be 40%. So right now their holding is 20%. After restructuring, their holding will be increased to 40%. Right? So due to restructuring, their ownership will increase. Right? Their ownership will increase. And right now they are sitting on the board, so they can run the company according to their own will. Okay, so now whether they will accept restructuring or not, that will depend upon the risk appetite. Okay, because if some of the VCO, if they want ownership in the company, so they will favor restructuring, while others will not favor a restructuring, right? Because in restructuring, their unsecured bond will be cancelled, right? Unsecured bond will be cancelled. So it means they will lose fixed stream of income, right? Obviously, on that unsecured bond, they are earning some interest, right? So now that unsecured bond will be cancelled. So it means they will lose fixed stream of income. So those VCO who want fixed stream of income, they will not favor restructuring. And those who want ownership in the company, they will favor restructuring. But you will also tell one point over here that unsecured bond that is ringed that is ringed before shares, right? In the event of liquidation, they will be paid before the shareholders, right? Unsecured bondholders. So it means now that those bonds will be converted into shares, so it will become risky. Okay, so financial, but you will tell your examiner that financial management theory that depends on risk and return. If they want to take the risk, so they will receive more return. Okay, so again, I will not give any clear-cut answer. I will simply say that those who want ownership in the company, they will favor restructuring because after restructuring, their holding will become double, right? It will become 40%. From 20, it will become 40%. So those who want ownership in the company, who want dividend, capital gain, who want higher return, they will basically favor restructuring. and those who want fixed stream of income, so they will not favor restructuring, because after restructuring bonds will be cancelled. Okay, and it will be replaced with a risky instrument. Shares are risky. Okay, but return is high, right? If you look at your dividend and capital gain, if you just compute the percentage of dividend and capital gain, so that is much higher compared to interest. Okay, so although over there you have to face higher risk, but you will get higher return. So that will all depend upon the risk appetite. Okay. Then you have to discuss impact on Chrysos company shareholder. Okay, now basically due to restructuring, VCO ownership will increase. Venture capital organization ownership will increase, right? So your shareholder, so now it means your shareholders ownership will decrease. Right? VCO ownership is increasing, right? So it means my existing shareholder ownership that will decrease. Okay. So basically you can say that they will not favor, they will resist restructuring. Then you can also say that previously company they were earning from two business units, and now it will only earn from one business unit, right? Because they will close the machinery part unit. So previously they were earning from two business unit, now they will just earn from one business unit. So now the complete reliance that will be shift on one business unit, right? So this can be a demotivating factor for remaining shareholders. Okay, so that is how you can discuss. Then for directors and employees, you will say that director and employees, they will favor restructuring due to job security. But over here, they will be having one added advantage. As business will be sold, right? One of your business unit that will be sold via buyout. So they will get ownership, right? They will get ownership right of one business unit. So this can be a motivating factor for them. Okay, and then in the end you will write down your conclusion. Okay, so that is how you have to discuss. Now coming to part C, this part C that relates to supervisory board. So let us first read the data that relates to supervisory board. Just come on the last paragraph. It says a non-executive supervisory board provides an extra layer of governance over the BOD. It consists of representatives from company's internal stakeholder group, including the finance provider, employees, and the company's management. It ensures that the action taken by BOD are for the benefit of all stakeholder group and to the company as a whole. Any issues raised in board meeting are resolved through negotiation until an agreed position is reached. So basically your supervisory board that provides an extra layer to BOD, and they ensure that all the actions taken by BOD are for the benefit of all stakeholder group. Okay. Now let us read the requirement. It says discuss why the attention Chrysos company pays to its stakeholder representative on the supervisory board may change once it has obtained a listing. So supervisory board they provide an extra layer to BOD, right? And they ensure that whatever actions are taken by BOD, those are for the benefit of all stakeholder group. So over here he is asking that due to listing, why attention given to supervisory board will decrease. Okay, over here he is asking why attention given to stakeholders which are represented on the supervisory board that will decrease if company goes for listing. Okay, company go for listing, then why the attention paid to supervisory board will decrease. Okay. Now, most importantly, right now company is unlisted. So after listing, basically he is asking why the attention paid to supervisory board will decrease. Okay, so right now it is an unlisted company. So if it obtains listing, then many shareholders will come, right? Right now it is an unlisted company, and if it obtains listing, then many shareholders will come. They will ask the company to form a new board, right? They will ask the company to form a new board, and new board they will bring some new entities. So this is very obvious that as new people will become a part of group, so attention paid to existing people will decrease. Right now, many people they will become a part of board, right? So obviously attention paid to existing people that will decrease. Then secondly, after listing, there will be a lot of regulations. So it will not be possible for current supervisory board to handle those regulations. So you have to form a new board, right? Basically, they are used to previously company was unlisted, right? So obviously they don't know how to handle the regulations, how to follow the regulation on stock market. So you have to make a new board. So obviously attention paid to existing one will decrease. Okay. Then thirdly, right now company is unlisted. So maybe shareholder wealth maximization that may not be a big objective for them. Right? It is unlisted, right? So shareholder maximization objective that may not be a big objective for them. Because right now every individual they will just focus on fulfilling their own objective. So if company is listed, so shareholders will increase, right? So objective will create dominance. Okay, so that is also one of the reasons why attention paid to supervisory board may decrease. Clear? I have already provided answer for part C. Okay. So that's all we have from this question. Now we have to discuss some theory.